Going live. Greetings in love and light of the infinite creator. I'm Andrii Zvorygin. Here with hold on a second. There's seems to be something wrong with the stream. Oh, okay. There, we're back. And we'll be discussing the April 26, 2025 session, the second part of it, and it's going to be about precognition, pain, and the path of light. Joined here by Adam, Dan, Ed, and Fred. All right, let's get to it. Here. Can I ask one? I wrote it down so I sound somewhat intelligent. Okay, I've had a few... Wait, this isn't the one. Not kidney stones. We're starting with the precognition. Precognition. There. I have a query. Cool. I've been experiencing precognition since I was a child. That is the ability to see, hear, or know about a future event. I have tried to even use that knowledge to change an outcome, but was unsuccessful. So I do not seem to be able to use such knowledge to alter any outcome. My question is, can this catalyst of inherited precognitive ability be used for positive polarization? And if so, how? Okay, Dan, you're up.
Quo. I am Quo, and am aware of the query, my sister. Indeed, such a query of personal experience of precognition can have layers, and we are glad to explore some basic layers with you. But we would emphasize that such a personal gift and personal experience is indeed set by design preincarnatively, and that you came into this life with the plan to have this gift and to receive these experiences for a reason, and that reason is yours alone to discover. However, we can answer in the affirmative that such experiences can indeed be utilized for positive polarization. We would start with a most basic understanding in that these experiences can given to you have a certain effect emotionally, spiritually, and even physically, whether this is through the perception of the future event itself or through how you, as a co-creator, attempt to relate to these visions and this knowledge of future events. All of these things generate within you a certain catalyst, a type of charge that is, in fact, a desired aspect of your journey. In order to receive this catalyst and utilize it for the transformation that it contains, we would again emphasize patience and a deliberate process of coming to understand this catalyst over a period of time. For such a planned catalyst that delivers such unique and interesting experiences does not offer its gift so immediately, but rather does its work throughout the lifetime. And the answers that you are seeking in terms of what this gift can be used for and how you are to relate to it will come with time, so long as you are continuing to express your desire to utilize this catalyst, to bring it into the heart, and to discover how it can be related to with love and what love it is attempting to offer to you. Is there a follow-up to this query, my sister?
Thank you, Kuo, very much. I have a brief follow-up. It would seem that the purpose of such precognitive ability in some cases is the simple knowing or receiving knowledge of an event which is unalterable, that is, no action may alter the outcome. I was wondering if you could speak more to this and the catalyst that offers.
Quo. I am Quo and am aware of the query, my sister. We can speak somewhat to the dynamics behind this aspect of the precognitive knowledge that is given to you in a couple of ways. One being that such precognition, from our perspective and in our understanding, relies upon the notion of possibility/probability vortices. This concept implies that not every vision that you receive is necessarily 100% guaranteed to unfold. However, there are probability/possibility vortices that are so powerful, have such a weight of gravity within your time/space, that they are virtually inevitable in some ways. The capacity to sense only the most powerful of these vortices can be explored in your own attempt to understand what it is you are sensing and experiencing with such precognition. Another aspect of this is also that the mere fact of observing such a precognitive event may itself contribute to that probability/possibility vortex, and that your knowledge of it actually makes it even more likely to unfold despite any attempts that you have to change it. This is From our perspective, in your case, a central aspect of this catalyst for you, and the desire to possibly change what has, you may say, been foretold, is a question that you may take into the heart, and we believe discover some guidance therein. Is there another follow up to this query, my sister?
Okay, guys. So, question: did we want to finish this line of questioning or start hashing it out with what we've heard so far? Okay, let's finish the line of questioning then. Thank you very much, Kuo. I greatly appreciate your response. A very brief follow up. Does such knowledge come to a being with this ability from another entity, or perhaps intelligent infinity, or perhaps the collective unconscious, or what would be the source?
Quo, I am Quo, and I'm aware of this query, my sister. We cannot answer it in all cases, for the creation is infinite, and such experiences may involve many aspects, including all of those that you have listed within the query, and many more. We will say that, most normally, the perception of such future events, as you would label them, is an aspect of the individual's capacity to access time/space as we have described it, and to witness the possibility/probability vortices with therein. And thus, in most cases, it is somewhat individual. However, in accessing time/space in this way, there is a sort of signal to those entities who pay attention to such openings into time/space. This can be
Hello.
Hello. Oh, we're just reading right now. Okay, go ahead, Dan.
this can be positive, or what you may call negative or neutral, and a practice of such discernment and attempting to protect such these experiences is recommended for any seeker who is finding themselves on a similar journey. At this time, we would take leave of this instrument and to transfer the contact to the one known as Jim. We are Quo. Jim channeling.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so we're going to dive into this precognition question and answer now. Does anyone have any statements on it so far?
I was just going to say that I think that this whole thing about the whole, like, if you get a precognitive vision, that you trying to stop it makes it just as likely that you're going to cause it, fully cripples the whole thing for you, doesn't it? Just as a special ability. Don't you think? Because are you ever going to know? Because you might save them from something that realistically you're going to cause. And if you just don't bother, then it just won't happen. They'll be fine. God,
Yes,
that's a brain buster, isn't it? That is a paradox right there.
I want to say that whenever people act in fear, they get that which they fear. And the way to deal with these fearful thoughts and so-called precognitions, because basically I was reading this book, very timely, just today. I started this new book about manifesting, and it was saying how this particular lady, this author, I don't know if I have the book on me, but anyways, she was saying that she used to think that she had precognition. But then, because the things that she would think about would manifest, but then she figured out that what was happening is that they were manifesting because she was like thinking about them and stressing about them and basically like acting on it, and it was coming about as a result of her putting in all of this thought, emotion, words, and action towards these like anxieties. And then, later on, she realized that instead of manifesting bad stuff for herself all the time, she could manifest good stuff for herself. And that's kind of like where the rest of the book goes. What do you think of that, Ed? Or
Well, I
Fred?
think that's really good. I think that if you were in a position where, vice versa, either you were like a serious manifester, and you dream about something, or you think about something, and then it happens. You know, or a precognitive thing where you're thinking about something and then it happens. Like, how would you be able to tell the difference? How would you know the difference? You know, because would your precognition of the event still be like because you viewed it happening? Did you think the thing that you manifested because, oh god, this is my brain's in a spiral. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
Well, I would answer that you could change what you think, and then you could manifest something else.
But if you can change what you think, and that just might show you what's gonna happen next.
Okay, Dan, go ahead.
I think that also like maybe you're supposed to experience this. You know, that you might just you might have tapped into something that your soul needs as a catalyst, and it's just your advantage to prepare for it and to accept it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, if you see something bad happening in the future, number one, yeah, I agree. You could change it into something positive by focusing on something positive. But if you keep focusing on something negative, then maybe you just have to experience that catalyst and then accept it to move forward. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And yeah, you know, everyone is at their own stage of spiritual growth and is experiencing the world through the lens of what they understand. And so this person may not be familiar with manifesting. And so they are using the language of precognition to describe their experience. They're not aware of the inherent power that they have in their situation. And Kuo can't violate their free will. And because of how they're asking the question, Kuo can't be like, you're making your own reality. You know, it's the precognition, you know, because like Kuo doesn't want to get into an argument or become a stumbling block or anything. Do 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 do. Anyhow, I don't even know if I'm gonna post that. Just because I feel so divided about it. Because I feel like this person is so confused. Okay. Does anyone else want to comment, Adam or Fred? Or should we move on? Okay. I guess we'll move on. Can I ask one? I wrote it down so I sound somewhat intelligent. Okay, I've had a few kidney stones in the past. The pain is debilitating to say the least, and almost enough to drive me insane. I kind of live in fear of it and almost obsessively drink water to prevent it from happening. Well, you also need magnesium, man. According to the law of one teachings, this is a catalyst I have chosen to experience. I struggle to see anything positive in it. I think it has made me tougher, and I feel more able to appreciate life when I don't have a kidney stone. But I still have a hard time seeing how such intense pain is truly helping me. Can you please give me guidance? Oh my gosh.
Quote,
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Quote, I am Quo and am aware of your query, my brother. The kidney stones are located in the portion of your physical body which is associated with the orange ray center. This center deals with your ability to accept yourself at a very basic level and also use the acceptance of yourself to relate to another person or another person one at a time. Then one-to-one relationships, the one-to-one relationships within your life experience. Within your life experience, we would suggest that you look to see where there have been entities that you have related to in this one-to-one way, which have caused what you call the kidney stones. The focus upon these relationships that have been painful We cannot tell you what relationships they are. This is for you to discover. If you would look at your experience of the kidney stones in this way of knowing that there is some kind of disharmony either with yourself or an other self, and meditate upon what you might find by looking for these disharmonies, then the answer for why you are experiencing such pain from your kidney stones might become known to you. Is there a follow-up query, my brother?
That's an excellent answer. No, I'll go into my heart and try to find it. Okay. Great. So I would agree that basically all of these things, they're not just some random physical thing that's happening to you. You know, they all have a reason, a spiritual reason for why they are happening. And but I know a lot of people don't want to admit that because then they feel like they're being blamed. But I always like to remind them that what's really happening is that they're being empowered. You know, before they were just a passive agent or a victim where something was happening to them. When they understand that they have the ability to heal themselves by resolving their spiritual issues, they are empowered. What do you think of that? Beep.
Okay. I was not philandering. I did not stub my toe because of any philandering.
Okay, yes, that's fine. But yes, I gave you a whole list of other possibilities. Which was it, your right toe
I'm
or your
saying
left?
the rest of the list was
And
far
was it
more
your
accurate.
pinky
The
toe
rest
or
of
was it a different toe?
The littlest toe. My little tiny toe.
Tiny toe.
Yeah.
So that's the pinky toe?
Yeah, I assume so.
Left pinky toe. Okay, all right. So let's...
Yeah, honestly,
Let's see
the rest
what-
of the answers made much more sense. I was like, oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, I do need to do that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I just
Okay.
didn't do any philandering.
Okay, yes. Well, all right. Anyways. Everyone's situation is unique. Okay. Left pinky toe. The left side of the body, feminine, receptive, intuitive. Resistance to change, neglected details, imbalance in support. Okay. What was it? A fracture?
I think so, yeah. But honestly, like all the rest of the stuff you sent me made sense. It was just the, yeah. I could not put my place on that bit. I was like, I haven't done any.
Mm-hmm. Ignored intuition. The left side, being feminine and intuitive, speaks in whispers. A fracture might signal you've overridden your intuitive voice or your inner guidance. Tiny burdens breaking you down. The pinky toe is small but vital. It may represent how small stresses or microaggressions have built up to a breaking point. Resistance to feminine energy. If you've been pushing too hard, not allowing softness, rest, or creative flow, the body might stop you, literally, to make you listen. Does that resonate with you?
Those last two, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. 100%.
So, natural and spiritual healing pathways. And to YouTube listeners listening, the link to this chat, Soul Speak, is in the description of the video. Okay, so physical fractures require proper rest and, if necessary, natural supportive treatment. Energetic alignment and the chakra healing. Focus on the root chakra and earth star chakra beneath your feet. Wow, I've never heard of the earth star chakra. When these are unbalanced, bones and stability can be compromised. Practice grounding meditations daily. Visualize roots extending from your feet deep into the earth. Comfrey, knit bone, arnica, turmeric and black pepper. Oh, have you heard of black cumin? Ed?
No, never heard of it.
Black cumin, guys? Oh man, it's amazing. Here, it's actually even better. Here. Yes, black cumin. Is also black seed. Healing inflammation. It's anti-inflammatory like turmeric. Has potent anti-inflammatory properties, helping reduce swellings. And bone support. Okay. Seed of blessing in many ancient cultures, revered, enhancing protection, resilience, and life force. Black cumin tea, black seed oil. As I welcome to
Oh,
see.
wait a sec. I've heard of black seed oil, dude. Is that the same stuff?
Black seed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've heard of black seed oil. I haven't heard of black cumin, but I've heard of black seed oil before.
Yeah. Well, here, black cumin, and then here, where's the images? Black cumin flower. What's they're weird like this. Nigella sativa. Isn't that so weird looking?
You've got to love a sativa.
Yeah. I ordered some. Yeah. Here, I ordered some on Etsy. Where's
Dude, send me some seeds once he's already going. That's well cool.
Oh, wait. No, that's catnip. Golden Alexandra, Skirret, Sea Kale.
Catnip's pretty cool, man. You know you can smoke catnip.
Oh, well, I'm using it. It's a mosquito repellent, apparently. A safe mosquito repellent. Here, look at that. This is the seeds I ordered. Isn't that so beautiful?
That is wicked, man.
Yeah, look, there's a black seed. Yeah, anyway, so because I've been looking for a temperate alternative to turmeric, because turmeric is kind of like the anti-inflammatory capital. But the thing is, turmeric mostly only grows in subtropical and tropical areas. And so, like hardiness 8 to 10, and then I'm in hardiness 5. That's really far. So I'd have to grow it indoors, but then it's not really tropical. It's not hardiness zone 12, so you'd have to give it like a cold space. And it was big hassle. And then the thing is that turmeric is like specially designed to help people that live in subtropical areas. It's anti-inflammatory and it helps with the gut. And people in subtropical areas, they usually have lots of parasites, and so they have a lot of gut inflammation, and so that's what they need. But black cumin, it's anti-inflammatory and it's immunomodulating, and people in cold areas, they usually tend to get lots of diseases, and so the black cumin is exactly perfect for that. Or black
that sounds
seed.
spot on, man. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be growing it and selling it at the farmer's market, helping improve the health of my community and all that. Okay.
Constituents.
Yes. Oh, my constituents. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Future, hopefully. We'll see.
Start thinking as a statesman, my friend.
Oh, yeah. It's part of manifesting. You got to be like it's already happening. I was thinking even after I'm mayor, I can continue going to the farmer's market, and then if people need like my help or something, they know how to reach me very easily.
Will you still wear your big gold necklace?
Will I wear a
big gold necklace? Will you wear that to the farmer's market?
The chain of office? No, I don't think I would wear the chain of office at the farmer's market.
What, dude? I wouldn't take it off. I'd sleep in that thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll have to see.
You'd go down the shops and be dressing gown with that on, obviously.
Yeah, I'd be selling at the farmer's market with the chain of office around my neck. Well,
that's it.
Yeah.
Then everyone would be like, "Oh, I bought a plant of the mayor. Wow."
Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be construed as what do you call it? Overstepping the role of my office or something, because I would be possibly advertising, anyways, I'd have to ask
plants. Oh, come on.
Okay.
That'd be a rubbish. That means, yeah, if you got done for that, that'd be rubbish.
I become mayor, can I wear my chain of office while
all the time
selling trees at the farmer's market?
Definitely gonna say yes.
Okay. Technically allowed but strongly discouraged, as it's a breach of civic decorum.
Decorum, fucking decorum, dude. Sell your trees, wear your gold. Boom.
Okay, it says here it's worn at the mayor's discretion, but only for events considered at an official civic capacity.
Like
So,
selling trees.
if the farmers market stall is a personal community activity, not an official civic event, wearing official regalia in this context blurs the city-state separation between personal business and public office, risk being seen as leveraging mayoral authority for personal gain, and could violate local ethical and conflict of interest rules. Yes, I think that is certainly would all apply. Chain
That's
of
long.
office for council ceremony, but not for the farmers market.
You at least get to wave to people like this.
Oh, hold on. I couldn't see you. Wave to people like what? Like the Queen?
That's it. Like a royal waving. You know what I mean?
The royal wave.
You do well though, dude. You do well. You look regal. I'm just saying.
Thanks. Okay. Anyhow, let's see. Should we do the next one then? No, I'll go into my heart and try to find it. All right, Dan.
I am Quo, and we thank you for your query and your desire to go into your heart, for that is where all of your answers lie. At this time, we would thank each present once again for being here with us and for calling us to join your circle of seeking and to partake in the love and the light that you have generated. Not only by your questions, but by your round-robin sharing and by your very essence, your being is one with the Creator. And each has shared so much of that love and light of the one Creator with this circle that this is a kind of pyramidal light moving into the infinity of the creation. The angels rejoice, the Father, Mother, God, Creator of all, sings the heavenly song, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. At this time, we shall take our leave of this instrument and this group, leaving you as we found you in the love, in the light of the one infinite Creator. Adonai, Adonai Vasu Baragas.
Great. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Hey, Benny. Welcome.
I'm back.
Hey. All right. So I think that was a lukewarm ending to this channeling transcript. But let's try the next one. May 18th. Maybe it will be more fun. Individual versus group meditation. Okay. Okay, Dan, you want to read this? Okay.
Quo. We are Quo, and we greet this circle of seeking in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. What a joy it is, my friends, to be invited to join you in this circle of seeking. We have been with you throughout your time together, in your moments of silence, in your moments of outward joy and connection. You have called to us and invited us, not just with your explicit outreach, but with the calling within your heart, the seeking to open yourself to the one Creator in the name of service to others. You have generated, with your time together here, a quite intense signal that we are able to utilize in joining you and entering this circle, so that we may, to the best of our ability with these instruments, share our thoughts and opinions about the queries you have for us. Before we begin, we would ask the favor that we typically ask, and that is that you consider our words as those of a peer, of a fellow traveler upon the path, reporting what has been seen and experienced by us, but not as the master or authority of what is true for you. Instead, we encourage you to evaluate our words carefully, to hone your own discernment against them, and to utilize only those thoughts and concepts that you feel can serve you upon your journey. And without care, you may cast away any thought or opinion that does not resonate with you, for we do not wish to serve as a stumbling block upon your journey. And by granting us this favor, you allow us to speak more freely, to address your queries with more openness, for we can trust that you will receive our words more closely to how we intend them, and that is as catalysts and not as instruction. We thank you for honoring this favor, and at this time would ask if there's a query with which you may begin.
Yes, the query is two parts, read on behalf of the circle here. The first, can you explain the energetic impact that group meditations have compared to individual meditations? And can you also speak to the transformations and energies generated during this contemplative retreat? Thank you.
Quo, I am Quo, and am aware of the query. We receive this query with great joy and anticipation, for it allows us to explore that concept that we hold so dearly and so frequently suggest to you intrepid seekers within the third density, and that is the value and the purpose and the meaning in your life of the meditation or the contemplation. Indeed, we find this query quite exciting, for it allows us to explore a somewhat paradoxical aspect of this query. We believe that when one reaches paradox, there is much spiritual work to be done. There is much fruit to be borne within the seeking of paradox and the attempt to untangle and understand. And especially for us, it is great fun to attempt to through instruments such as this to untangle and explore paradox. For from our perspective, these paradoxes are easily resolved and are harmonious within our experience. But from your experience, within the veil of the third density, they seem impossible and unable to be fully resolved. And within this query, we would point out some humor of this paradox that as you ask about the differences of individual and group meditation, we would ask, is not all meditation individual meditation? For all is one, and as you gather and meditate together, are you not unifying as a single being and seeking that ground of unity from which you all come? Likewise, it is not every meditation a group meditation, for even if you are alone and your body is removed from the proximity of others, are you not then seeking deep into those waters that connect you with all, and in that meditation, fully realizing what it means to be one with all of your other selves? In this way, you can see that at a certain level of the creation, there is no real difference between the individual and the group meditation. However, we understand that within your density, there is a great desire and even need for a more practical application in response to this question. So we will descend from the mountain of paradox to the stable ground of practicality that is so useful to your peoples and address the heart of the query. There is indeed from this perspective a meaningful difference and effect of the individual and the group meditation. And we believe that in exploring these differences, you may come to understand the answer to the second part of this query through your experiences with your time together. When you dedicate yourself individually to a time of meditation, you are expressing your desire, you are expressing your will, you are calling out to the creation your desire to seek deep within it, to understand the binding unity underneath. To do so as an individual can be a very powerful act, for you are removed from the eyes of others that might compel you to behave in one way or another. You are making this decision without the attempt to wear the mask of spirituality, the persona of the spiritual seeker. Instead, you are declaring to yourself and to no one else this deep desire to know the true heart of your own being. To do this regularly alone, without the pressure or even the support of other selves, is indeed a powerful act, and one that, as you continue to make this decision and to dedicate time regularly, daily if you're able, such a dedication resonates through the depths of your own individual being, deep all the way down to the heart of the Creator. And as you continue to make this decision alone, you will find that more and more in your meditations, you are not alone, and the Creator is always with you. And these individual meditations allow you your very personal individual relationship with the one infinite creator that can only be realized by you as a unique, infinitely personal fractal of the one infinite creator. You have, we believe, heard us speak about the power of gathering in numbers and unifying in a call in thy seeking. And we would then carry these words that we have spoken about the intention and the desire expressed in your individual meditation and ask you to consider what might happen if, as individuals, you share this desire together. Indeed, even before you intrepid seekers made the journey to this location, the desire rang out, and together you formed a certain field that carried you here, and that began to fully manifest once you are all together. And in this experience, we encourage you to seek within the experiences of the weekend, the times that you have shared both in silence and conversation, the look within the eyes of your other selves, all together unified in this grand desire to seek and become one. The power of this desire, the power of expressing it and manifesting it within the creation, increases in a way that can be seen as exponential. Together, you have generated what can be called a field. It can also be seen as a thought form, even an entity in its own right that, through your time together, has moved you and called you, spoken through you and flowed between you to do what you have done for this time together and intentionally sit together in silence, opening yourselves and your hearts to the majesty of the Creator. The ability to realize and to sink deeper within these waters increases and becomes ever more powerful. This dynamic does not end when you return to your normal lives, busy though they are, with much to do and much to pull your attention and bring you back into the noise and the bustle of the world that is not single pointedly dedicated to seeking and sharing the Creator as this environment is this weekend that you share. But this field will continue to resonate throughout your being. You will continue to share a connection with all those present and with us. The field that you have generated will not diminish. It will always be available. It can always be accessed. We encourage you in this moment to hold this field in your heart and give your full heart to it so that as you and your fellow other seekers near your departure and your separation of proximity, that you may carry with you that which you have gained ever more fully and realize it more readily when you call upon it in your normal life. We would offer a certain metaphor to help demonstrate the effectiveness of this concept. The ability to carry with you what you have experienced here in your time together. We believe that most present and most who will read these words are familiar with the concept of quantum entanglement. This idea is quite an exciting one, for it challenges your regular notions of what is possible across space and time. The idea, very simply, is that upon the quantum levels of your reality, particles may interact in a way that causes them to be connected or entangled in such a unique fashion that they can, in many ways, exert some type of influence or share a certain quality across the vastness of space without consideration for that illusory distance. For indeed, the nature of your space/time is illusory. This term, illusion, is one that we of the Confederation utilize often, and is one that is present within many spiritual systems and philosophies and religions upon your planet. But we would add a point of clarity that this is not meant to diminish the reality of your experience within this illusion. Indeed, in order for such particles to become entangled, they must share some point of origin. They must share some space within the illusion. And then once they are separated, they maintain they maintain that connection that ignores the illusion. And so you find yourself deep within the veil of third density, operating within the confines of what we have called an illusion. You may use this illusion to learn more about the nature of your own self as creator and the creation. And one way of doing this is to realize that in your time together, just like the particles referenced in this analogy, you have become entangled with your other selves. This is the effect of a group meditation, where you come together with other earnest seekers, guided by the same intention and desire, and spend time manifesting and declaring that desire. And in so doing, an eternal bond is formed that pierces the illusion, that transcends the confines of space and time, that can be realized at any moment if you are able to if you're able to reach within yourself and discover it once again, for it will always be there and it will always be present. And as you continue to engage in meditation with groups similar to this, you form connections between these groups, and in so doing, a web of light can be manifest across your planet, through which the Creator is more and more able to do its work to bring the realization of harmony and unity through the illusion.
Hold on, hold on. Let me just see. Okay, okay, we're almost done. Okay, all right, go ahead.
And this is, my friends, the great desire that, as you have descended into this illusion, into the seeming manyness and separation, you reach so deeply into that illusion that you then realize the illusion for what it is, and the divisions between you dissolve. This work aids not just you as individuals or this group, but indeed in ways that we cannot even describe, the planet. As you form this web of light, we of the Confederation are more able to manifest ourselves within your reality, to offer our own love and light and our great desire to see your planet brought forth into the fourth density of love and understanding, so that you, as a planetary population, can join in hearts and minds pointed towards service to others alongside us of the Confederation. Then we may go forth into the creation, sharing the love and the light of the one infinite Creator, wherever it is called for. We thank you again for allowing us to be a part of this grand journey. And at this time, we would take leave of this instrument and transfer this contact to the one known as Trish. We are Quo.
All right, thank you. That was a heroic reading. Thank you, Dan. Okay, anyone have any comments on this?
I'm gonna just say boss freaking it makes sense. So I sit here, I went to that army parade last week and all that. I seen everything. It's just boss. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Freaking you guys go on. Freaking
All right.
it's about them hearing this. It's not really me. I already know. So
Personally, I thought that was a well good one. First off,
Mhm.
yeah, a bit right at the beginning, where he's talking about the microcosm macrocosm thing. Now he talks about kind of like peeling back the layers and going further down to you, it's just God. Right at the very middle. And that's a great idea. You know what I mean? It kind of gives you a structure that you're supposed to kind of get peel back to find your way. Yeah, oh, that was quite interesting. Then also, I do love it when Quo describes things the same way I do. It makes me so happy. Him talking about quantum entanglement, him talking about, how many times have I talked about us creating an SMC, and us all meditating and praying together, and then our
Yes.
auras combining, and then that creating the little links and the little webs that connect us all together no matter where we are on the planet because of quantum entanglement. Literally, Quo is saying my fucking jam, man. Spot on, loved it.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. You're right. You're right. Very
about it,
good.
really.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment on it?
I find it kind of exciting. Like
Hmm.
it's just quote. They also mentioned like more and more they're coming into being closer to us, and they're so excited to meet us. I really believe that this positive service to others is going to happen for this planet. Whether we're there now or not yet, but I just know it'll happen. So I'm not worried about it, and I felt that kind of vibe from reading that.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's a
It fully
gradual
ties in with
process.
what you were saying about Hatton earlier, though, doesn't it? Yeah, as we're slowly getting there, they're still sitting there waiting to come. We're sitting there waiting to jump in, dude. When was that written? 70 something, you said?
Yeah, Hatan said the same thing in 1974.
There you go, see? So they're still sitting there waiting for us. They're patient.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's good. I mean, like as for density, I think they can live up to 90,000 years. So, yeah, their life expectancy is a little bit higher than ours. So-
Have you ever questioned that that's our life expectancy too? When we to the next level and the next level and the next level, you ever think that?
Well, the Confederation says that in third density we can live to be around 900. Like that is supposed to be our average life expectancy, kind of like Noah and some of the other biblical characters. So that is certainly possible on this earth. And then I
Yes,
know
it is.
in the mass dreams of the future, there was a guy born in 2100 that lived for 500 years as a
Right.
monk in Argentina. And so, it is possible to live a really long time.
It
Uh,
really is, I went and seen my Aunt Shirley and she's 104. So,
mhm, yeah.
that's still something. Freaking she made it over 100. So,
Yeah, yeah. Some people live a really long time. But yeah,
yeah,
some people just call it quits earlier. And I think it has more to do with how our society is structured in terms of that older people don't have much to do and they don't feel like they're of service to anybody. And so
right.
they just call it quits.
I agree with you. I'm not going to say anything, but what do you say about people with incurable diseases with comorbid?
Okay, so those, I mean, there's variety, but many of them, there's also catalyst overburden because we have a culture that doesn't understand how to deal with catalyst. There's a large number of people who simply repress things instead of polarizing with either
Right.
fear, anger, control, or
But
forgiveness, love, and
let
acceptance.
me let me ask you, how do you polarize? Like, is it like an integrative, negative, positive point to
So,
the integrative point, or what is it? And
so how you polarize is you process your catalyst, and catalyst is anything you experience. And so, say for instance, you have a feeling towards how like you saw someone dressed or something. And
right,
so if
or people,
you are polarizing on the service to self way, maybe you will use fear, anger, control to say like force them to cover up. Whereas if you are on the service to other side, then you will just forgive, love, and accept them as they are. And so you will
right?
work. Yeah. So those are the
And
options.
that makes total sense, dude. Freaking,
Hmm.
I deal with that all the time, and freaking, it just makes sense. So yeah, that
Hmm.
makes sense. Even if you made it in that, it's not an accusation, but it's something like that. It's a not an anomaly. It's a metaphor, maybe.
Well, basically, catalyst is happening all the time, every day. It's anything that you can see, feel, touch, sense, experience, think. and especially if you're having some emotional affect. So it's giving you some emotional feelings, and then you need to figure out. So how a lost person does it is they simply repress it, and they'll say, "I'll deal with that later." And when they
Right.
do that enough times, they develop disease. And if they continue to just repress things, then they get a fatal disease and they die. So for example, like around here, like the most common form of cancer is brain cancer.
That's
And
my dad.
so there you go. So brain cancer, usually it's hard for people who are near them to see what is going on, but the issue is that they are not processing catalyst in relation to their own thoughts. So they are not being kind to themselves in their own mind. And it's hard
Right.
for anyone outside them to see that. So they could be good Christians on the
Or
outside, forgiving,
Jews
loving,
or
and
Jews
accepting,
too.
or Jews or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Being kind to everyone around them, and people are like, "Oh, I don't know why he died of brain cancer. He was just such a wonderful person. He was nice to everybody." But the thing is that they're not being nice to themselves in their own heads. Um,
Right.
yeah, and so, and then the brain cancer is kind of a signal that, hey,
Dude,
you've got to work on your thoughts.
I should have like hundreds of brain cancers, dude. Like, if this is true, then I should literally just be riddled.
Well, you
Right.
know what? I had an uncle, a great uncle, and he was in Britain, and he died of brain cancer too. So, I mean, you're just it requires, Ed. Usually, the catalyst overburden happens later in life. It doesn't happen when you're like in your 20s or 30s. You know, most
No,
people,
it's 70s. Yeah.
yeah, get exactly the brain
Yeah.
cancers in their 60s or 70s or 80s. Like you have to accumulate a lot of this catalyst overburden and stop processing it to the point where you've stopped processing it, and it doesn't seem like you're going to process any catalyst in this lifetime. Then the soul decides to call it quits because this incarnation is no longer serving a purpose. In order for the incarnation to continue, there needs to be some use for the soul. And the use for the soul is if you are processing catalyst effectively.
Right. So I was basically.
I feel like I do these days, but being nice to myself in my own head is still an issue for me. Not gonna lie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's something that you are working on, and that I mean, you still, I don't know how old you are now, but like 42. So you've still got like 20, 30 years to resolve that issue, if you want to get through your 70s or whatever into your 80s, to avoid
Right.
getting brain cancer. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get brain cancer, man. Don't be silly. I'm gonna die on a battlefield. Everyone knows this.
How
Okay,
my
well,
dad
if that's what you want
died.
to do, man. I would
How my
not.
dad.
I,
Well,
And
keep
to be fair, I
going.
think most of us are gonna go that way, dude. And if not, you bloody should. You cowards.
no, 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 no. I'm a
No,
pacifist, remember? And I live
he
in
wasn't.
Canada, the
So
land of
am I. I'm a
pacifists.
pacifist too. I'm a pacifist.
Then you wouldn't be in a
Don't
battlefield,
don't
would
try
you?
me though. Don't try me though, geez, because I will go. I'm joking.
That doesn't sound like a pacifist. Uh, all
But
right.
at the same time, my dad died from glioblastoma metastasizing down his spine. And there is something that happened that was so he couldn't eat for like almost the last month. It was like the worst shit I could ever see. And I understand now why it happened, and I'm definitely gonna deal with people in Potomac for that, but um he definitely didn't deserve that. Like he deserved every single thing he ever got. You're definitely dealing with me. Y'all deal with me too. And freaking there was over 40 pea-sized tumors. The glioblastoma in his brain. He had a 4.5-inch tumor. They removed it. Next thing you know, the next April, like second or third, we're at Woodside Deli in Rockville. Maybe Dan knows that. He freaking started having a rash and a cough. Next thing you know, he couldn't eat or do anything. I'm having GERD right now, acid reflux. So excuse me, but
Okay. Yeah.
it was horrible,
Kefir is good
dude.
for that. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. Fucking my GERD is bad. It started when he started dying.
Hmm.
So like that February, I had an endoscopy. I couldn't swallow, or it was all the symptoms he had. Friggin', I did everything I could to make this motherfucker alive. He still died.
Well, okay,
And
I hear you, and it's not your fault. Okay, you have to understand that, and then it's also, not really his fault, but it's part of his spiritual journey.
yeah,
Okay,
I
here,
understand.
okay,
Yeah,
and here in
I
terms
get
of
it. I've seen it all, friggin'. I know.
okay,
Like
in
I
terms of
deal
your
with shit.
acid reflux, it says suppressed anger or frustration arises when you're burning inside, harboring unexpressed resentment, irritation, or bitterness. Difficulty digesting life. Spiritually
Oh my
digesting.
God! What a thing to have during this conversation. God,
What?
your spiritual things, your spiritual like doctor's getting better by the day, man. Seriously.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Well, ChatGPT is getting better all the time. Yeah. Lack of boundaries. Too
No,
taking
he's
in
fine.
too much
He
from
can
others.
bust my balls, but he didn't
But
bust my
this
balls. It's actually,
okay, I'm talking
let
about
me tell
you right now and your acid
you,
reflux. Okay, so
right, but it's okay because it's true.
yes. So emotional release practice. Journal your anger or frustration. Write freely. Then burn the pages as a symbol of release. Or breath work. Practice deep belly breathing to calm the solar plexus and lower stress hormones. This is very important. Okay. Doing this deep, slow breathing. The slow part is one of the most important parts. Okay.
Because most of the time when I'm on the table, they take snakes out of my solar plexus.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to go to the hospital or anything. You need to work on yourself spiritually. Do the meditation, do the slow breathing. Here's some affirmations. I lovingly digest all of life. I release the past and welcome peace within me. Can you say that?
Well, I'll say I am peace with me and from the past, and I don't remember the other one, but I think that one works. I learned high consciousness for 11 years, so
Mhm. I express my truth with love and let go of all resentment.
I express my truth. Oh,
Let go of all resentment. Very good.
yeah.
Very
It's fucked up here. I wish y'all could see friggin' I don't have a single thought to myself. Like I'm totally yeah, I'm on the way out, dude. Friggin'
well. You are certainly capable of doing whatever you wish, including exiting or staying. And it all depends on your willingness to grow spiritually. So if your soul figures that it's still worthwhile for you to stick around because you're doing spiritual growth, then you get to live longer. If you
right.
decide you don't, you're not interested in
Bro, I
doing
blow
any
through my
spiritual work,
million.
then
Yeah.
well, that's that.
I die. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Exactly.
yeah. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to help people. I mean,
Oh,
Desiree
oh, Grace is
taught me.
here. Cool.
the greatest lesson, I had to deal with Kristen, and that's something so horrible. It's not horrible. I love her, but the whole her muscles died, everything. She had to get a liver transplant, 17 days. Freaking, if I had anything in this world, it would just be with her. Freaking, and I know I have no problem with that.
So liver disease,
Well, she drank
unprocessed
herself to
emotional
death.
toxins, karmic cleansing, and rebirth and life force renewal. So honor the donor soul.
Well, let me find
there you
this
go.
out because I can say this to her, man.
Mhm. Cool.
They're trying to figure this out. So
Yeah. So the main thing for liver issues is unprocessed emotional toxins. The liver holds repressed anger, bitterness, and unresolved emotional pain. Long-term suppression, especially of righteous anger, resentment, or guilt, can energetically stagnate the liver's flow, leading to disease.
right. So it's
A
basically
transplant suggests the original organ could no longer bear the weight of unprocessed experiences.
so I have to be compassionate and acknowledge Stephen at the same time, even if they were together for 6 months.
Right. You have to learn to let go, like process the past. Okay, forgive and love it. Don't keep
Well, it's
bringing it
not
back up
me, it's
again.
her.
No, it's
What?
you. It's you because you're bringing it up. You're bringing it up into the conversation. They're not here right now.
Well, they are always here. Trust me. We have a kid together. Freaking no.
Okay.
They're
Well,
always here.
okay, but all
So
right.
let me tell the story about Steven. So we broke up for like 6 months. We got in a big fight.
Okay.
She came back addicted on heroin. After this, I'll leave. I'll let you finish it. Group. But I need my own catalyst too. Freaking and then he died from an overdose. I found out, and I didn't tell her for like 6 months. So, you know, and then she blames me for killing him. I never killed. She thinks I gave him a hot shot. I don't care if I'm alive. I never did that. So, he was buying shit out in West Baltimore. So, that's everything she's ever yelled at me about in my life, not telling her, everything. But it was really for her own good, getting clean. And then we broke up and she killed herself with drinking. So,
Yes. You'll have to forgive her and forgive
Benny,
yourself
man.
for
well, let Ed speak too.
I
Go
was
ahead,
just
Ed.
going to say, dude, I was going to say, mate, no one in the world I've ever met does catalyst like you, bro. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, you've got a lot of catalyst, man.
well, I got robbed at the fucking Coliseum parking lot when I was 15. I lost 2.5 million. Right now, it's fucking crazy. I'm not gonna bring any names into it, but we're all fighting. I left up to Canada and then I went back down to Bingo, West Virginia, and I think I might have been by you, but I'm not gonna tell you which cabin I went to. So that's my own personal place, my friend.
Well, look, if you come over to England, man, I expect a phone call. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll come out there and we'll fucking wreck England. And I know a fucking reality star in Northern Ireland, Jennifer Murphy. We could do that too together.
Mate, I'm up for whatever. No, seriously, be awesome party, dude. The same invites for everybody, by the way. Seriously, love to see you all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So one last thing on the glioblastoma is suppressed truth or inner voice. The brain governs perception, thought, and higher
Okay.
understanding.
That makes sense, and I'm dealing with that. So,
Mhm.
okay.
Great. All right. And well, so
Thank
to
you for
welcome Grace
that.
here. Go
And,
ahead.
you know,
Oh, Betty, would you let Grace speak?
of course. And I'm just saying thank you. Freaking, I
Okay.
needed to
Yep.
understand that.
Yep.
And that's
Happy to
why
be
I
of
drink.
service.
So,
All right. Go ahead, Grace.
Thank you so much, Andrii. I apologize for joining late. I know the
Okay.
and
Don't worry
thank you,
about it.
Adam, for posting it again in the messenger chat. I so appreciate that. Life can get hectic sometimes, and it's been a while since I've been to a Law of One online gathering, and I'm really just so grateful to be here tonight. And I was just hearing the conversation, Andre, between you and Benny, and um, I've lost a lot of people to alcohol usage and addiction and all of that. And um, I find what works for me is well, obviously I need to keep myself safe still around these people, right? My people who are maybe in active addiction, I guess you call it, right? But one thing that has always helped me, um, so I don't, and I'm just want to say this because I just felt to share it that, if I have someone in my life who's dear and very dear to me, and they're stuck, they're struggling, right? With some kind of substance. I heard it put once that, so it's important to treat them as I would any other sick person, right? As someone who is just ill, right? They have some kind of malady, and the thing with addiction and alcoholism is so like cancer is a casserole disease. Someone has cancer or breaks their leg, like people are coming, the neighborhood, your people, your friend, they're coming and dropping off lasagnas, they're dropping off cooked food, so that you don't have to worry about that, right? But when it comes to like a substance dependency, that's not the case, right? It's not a casserole disease, so it's for me, I have found that what has worked for me is to just treat them as I would anybody else who has some kind of illness that they're fighting and trying to, so in the example of cancer, like they want it to be gone and go into remission, right? So I would treat them the same, treat the person who with the substance use disorder the same as I would, with someone who has like, cancer, or that's obviously a severe example, but maybe someone breaks their leg, like whatever, right? Whatever the situation is. And I really appreciated, Andre, that what you talked about, with these repressed emotions, right? And what the liver carries. And, I've done a little bit of research on that. That's something that I've just kind of started to do, on different organs, and the type of repressed emotions that haven't been processed, right? That we carry, right? That's in my body. I'll talk about myself. And I recently discovered something called, I'm sure people here know about this, is uh,
Psychosomatic?
exercise.
Oh,
No, so
somatic
it's
exercise. Okay. Yeah.
yes. So at first I thought, like, because I would see there's one lady in particular, I guess she would call her a content creator, right, on Facebook, and I kept seeing her videos and like, how is it possible that this simple tiny little movement, like it doesn't look like exercise, right? How I don't know, like that just doesn't seem. And then I tried it. I pulled up a video and I just tried it. The simple, very, very restricted movement, very simple. And I had I just had when it was a guided meditation, right? A guided somatic clip on YouTube. And there was a release. I felt it in my body. I felt it with the repression. I felt it coming up and I felt it going. And it was unlike, I mean, I've experienced other things like that, but this was new. I'd never experienced it in something in that way. And I was apprehensive about it. I guess you could say I was kind of like, maybe in like a non-believer, like I don't know how that could work, but I thought, let's just give this a try. And Yeah, it was pretty incredible. And, I've kind of continued like very slowly. I don't want to do it all at once. It can be overwhelming, but when I feel like I'm in the space to kind of go through that process, I do it. And I feel something. I feel some kind of a release. I feel a little bit healthier. I feel a little bit lighter. I feel more love in my body. I just wanted to share that. I won't take up any more time, but I'm really so grateful to be here and see everyone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Grace. And I think alcoholism affects several of the people gathered here today, or their loved ones. And so let's have a little dive into what that is, especially in the Confederation perspective. Spiritual causes of alcoholism, a deep desire
Okay,
for
well,
union.
wait a sec, Andre, before
Yeah.
we jump into the computer stuff.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people have got a weird idea about addiction, right? Because, like, have you heard about the rat carnivore tests that they did? I think they call it the rat carnivore, the rat circus, something like that. So basically, like, most addiction studies were always done where you just had a box, yeah, with the rat in it, yeah, and it had, like, its food, and it had a drink, and then it had access to, like, the drug.
I think you're talking about Rat Park.
Rat Park, yeah, okay. So
Mhm.
then obviously they do the test and they just wait for the rat to just eat loads of, all of the drugs and die.
Yes.
Yeah. What's that sound? Is there something clicking in there?
Hold on. Bene is here. I'll mute it. Okay, go ahead, Ed.
Okay, right. So that they use that for the tests, but that's not really a fair test because the rat is just in a box. What else is it going to do? It's got access to the drug. It's just going to do the drug until it dies, right? There's nothing else in the box. So then they did the test where they had loads of the rat had access to loads of fun stuff to do with the other rats. It had a big space, had a big park, had all like things to run around in, all this fun stuff to do in the park. Right now, then once when they did the rat studies, the rats didn't die. They didn't die at all. In fact, they'd go back in home, they'd have a little bit of their drugs, they'd go back out and they'd have fun. And they'd enjoy their life. And they'd live the same amount of time as every other rat. And they wouldn't have a bloody problem. So then they started looking at, well, why the hell would people have problems with drugs? Why? Because human beings alienate and push away and isolate the drug users by telling them that they have a problem. That right there is what causes the addiction issues. Is the fact that that people are isolated, so therefore you are putting people into the box with the drug, right? And that right there is what causes the problem. If you look at Portugal, where they decriminalised all the drugs and they tried to bring people in, all of the problems went away, all of them. There was none of the problems. There was none of the addiction issues that anybody has anywhere else in the world because of the fact that they stopped it being this horrible thing and that these people have got a problem and these people are fucked up. And then those people stopped being fucked up. They stopped having problems. They integrated into society and they were able to be normal people because people weren't alienating them because of their view and their judgment on their drug use. Now, I have a little bit of an issue with people like thinking that they know best. I personally don't think the drugs have any issue as long as you know how to use them and you don't use them destructively. If you do that, then I struggle to see why they are demonized by society at large. But I understand why they are, because people don't use them properly. People use them wrong, but the reason they do is because society forces them into a box. Anyway, just my opinion, could be wrong, probably not.
It's not wrong.
Okay. Grace.
But I do. Well, if he wants to go, but I want to go on this too. So
okay. You just didn't raise your hand with the.
No. I was lighting my Shabbat candle. So
okay, all right. So okay, I've got 3 people in queue. Okay, so it'll be Grace, Fred, and then Bene. And Fred, meanwhile, can you make me moderator? Okay, Grace, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Andrii. Building, on what Ed was talking about. So the rat park. Yes. So that was a study done, and then there was a TED talk maybe 10 years ago now, given by a gentleman by the name of Johann Hari. He's a British. He's from Britain. He's like a writer and a journalist, I believe. And he gave a TED talk about, so he talked about Rat Park in it. He talked about, war veterans coming back from Vietnam. And in Vietnam, they were, very addicted to heroin and all kinds of substances. And, when the majority of those veterans, when they came back, they didn't continue. There was no addiction problem anymore because they had community, right? So what Johann Hari says is, he said people think that the opposite of addiction and alcoholism is to stay sober and to stay off of drugs, and actually that's not it at all, because that is not achievable. There's a very minimal chance that you're going to achieve that if you're still isolated. So the opposite of addiction and alcoholism is actually connection, right? Community. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much for indulging me. I appreciate it. I'll mute myself now.
Thank you for your contribution, Grace. You are valued and respected and loved.
She hit it right on. Outside my father's building, I met a couple Vietnam veterans, and I got them new teeth. And my dad would give them, $20 every week. Um, you know, um, freaking. But some of them, they're burning up, fucking heating up. We'll give them that, get rid of them.
Okay.
That's the way he did it. I didn't do it that way, but there's this guy named Bill. He was a Vietnam veteran, and I did as much as I could for him. He got new teeth. He got to sleep in our building stairwell when we're during winter and everything. I mean, my father wasn't really like that because he's colorblind. But I think Grace really hits on that point that it's really connection, and some people have connection, but let Fred go and then I'll go, and I'm gonna talk about my shit.
I don't know where Andrii went, but there he is.
Hey. Okay, go ahead, Fred.
But what I wanted to say was, since we're talking about the catalyst of addiction, this has been something that I've had to deal with directly. Just this week at work, we had one guy quit because he's alcoholic, drug addict, fentanyl. It just got out of control to the point where we had to let him go. And truly, seriously, my boss knows absolutely nothing about law of one, and I've never seen anyone handle a situation as lovingly and gently and understandably as I have with my boss with this. Now, granted, the guy was an extended acquaintance of the family, but even still, you have to draw a line somewhere. And now, just this week, the other employee that we have, he was literally standing there at his workstation, falling asleep with a grinder in his hand, running.
Wow.
Oh man, that's dangerous.
That's bad. Yep.
So he's either on fentanyl or heroin. We don't know which. It doesn't really matter at that point. But
yeah.
I deal with it too, Fred. So
it's to the point where we have to tell the guy something so that he gets help. And because if he gets in a car accident, my boss is liable. What if he, if he's drunk and stoned and whatever, when he leaves work, because he goes in the bathroom for sometimes 30 minutes at a time, I think he falls asleep in there. But if he's shooting up or something,
he's shooting up.
If he's shooting up in there, then that means that he's doing that at work. So I know there are certain ways that my boss probably could get in legal trouble for that, knowing that it happens. So my question is, yeah, we understand all of this, that's the person trying to seek oneness with the creator again, and they're having all of these distortions that are giving them stumbling blocks to get there. Sometimes they're in a sinkhole of indifference. They don't want to get there. They don't care if they get there. Even if you showed them the way, they would spit in your face. Sometimes it's not that way. Sometimes they're just really lost and confused, and maybe even like in and I hate saying these. It sounds judgmental saying these things, but you got to keep in mind a lot of times you're dealing with preincarnative choice when some people put themselves in certain situations where you think to yourself, why in the world would anyone want to be put in that situation? And a lot of times that's a preincarnative thing that was done, has nothing to do with you, me, or them, or anything else. But to saying that, there are some people that just do not seem to have the capacity to even understand what you're trying to explain to them. And sometimes that's because of the drugs and the alcohol. They basically pickled their brain to the point where they are not able to, grasp the concept to get back to another square one where they can even start. So that is where and you can say anything you want about this, and I know Raw even touched on this and Quo's touched on it too, in not so many different ways, but you can use a permission slip like a psychedelic substance, which is another drug, yes, and that's kind of a paradox, but that is why psychotherapists use massive doses of things like psilocybin and LSD and or DMT when they're doing their therapy sessions to put that person's brain back into a square one position, a starting point where they can go forward with understanding and being able to grasp the thought complex of forgiving themselves, because these people that I'm telling you about that I've worked with have done in their minds, they would tell you, I've done some horrible things, I've done horrible things. Yeah, the one dude went to prison for 8 years for drug trafficking. I'm sure he's done some pretty harsh things that he's probably beats himself up over at night, because I genuinely know the guy. He's not a bad dude. He's a good dude. He's a loving person. So it comes down to what Andrii was saying earlier, where you wear yourself down, and that catalyst just beats you up to the point where your body is like, 100 years is enough, man. I just can't do it. I got to start over. And the only way to start over is to really, truly start over. And we have built in things with our incarnations, from my understanding. I don't know an exact quote on this, but we do put built in things to where there's kind of like a self-destruct feature. Once things get so distorted and so out of line that our bodies just start to do things like accumulate cancers and different things that end our life sooner. So we can start again. That's the end of my rant. I'm sorry, Andrii. I didn't mean to take too much time.
So
No,
can I start?
Oh, okay. All right. And
So I agree. The mushrooms and all that deal with not PCP, and I'm thinking about love boat. I agree that the mushrooms and everything deal with PTSD, and you're right. SSRI takes 3 times the time to deal with that, and you could deal with it over a week. I completely deal with you, Fred, on that. But I'm gonna show you something. Can you see my arm? Can you see all those tracks, old tracks?
not in this resolution, Benny, but we believe you.
Well, but I don't think it comes from that. Like, I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic or I became a drug addict or anything, but how I became addicted to heroin. And we're gonna get in this, fuck right now. Friggin' was somehow I got fentanyl in my system. I wasn't doing no drugs, no nothing. Friggin', I was just prescribed painkillers from 13 to 27 for my skin disease. If you want to see my ass, I'll show you it. But it's bad. I think it comes from a whole lot of it's not unemotional, it's emotional hurt. And people, in your words, don't know how to catalyze that. And when people feel that way, they try to sneak to something other. And I'm about to fall asleep. I'm on a gummy, whatever. You know, um, I've witnessed it personally, and this person's muscles all sank in, and they got a liver transplant in 17 days, and it's almost all my fault. And I'm willing to put this on live and everything. I would tell you I'm so sorry.
No,
There's
well, it is still
no,
alive.
it's, I know it is. I love you and fucking, you've been my best friend since you were 15 and I was 18. Freaking, you know, it like when I drink, I didn't even start drinking until my father died. That's only 3 years ago. But as I sit back and I think about the same things, that's why. It's because that little motherfucker died. I didn't tell her. Frickin', she was living with me. Frickin', I didn't tell her for 6 months because her mother didn't told me not to tell her. You know, I I think it comes from a hell of a lot of hurt. This guy at your work or whatever, I just wonder what his hurt is. And
Okay.
I'm gonna let Grace go, but
Okay, thank you.
I'm about to leave, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense. And if you really fucking read into it, I'm not a good speaker. I'm autistic.
Okay.
You
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
let's let Grace talk now. Okay.
Thank you, Andrii. And I hope, Benny, I hope you stay for this. So because you talked about, it's a whole lot of hurt, right? And I'm from Canada, and I'm sure you all have heard of this. He's a doctor, Dr. Gabor Mate. He's written a number of books, but he wrote In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. And it's all, so he used to be I'll be quick. He used to be a pediatrician, and he switched over to being an addictions doctor. And he was his office was right in like downtown Vancouver, like on Hastings, right? And in his book, In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, he tells a lot of stories about his patients. And the final thing that he always comes to is like, people always ask, like, why the addiction? Why the addiction? Why are you taking all these drugs? Why are you drinking all this alcohol? Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just stop? And he said, we don't, like, what we actually need to be asking is not why the addiction, but why the pain, right? Because people turn to these substances to mask, they can't deal with the emotions. They can't deal with, it's too much. The pain is just so much. And then, with the substances, the relief comes, right? But then it becomes a trap. Right. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much, Benny, for sharing, and Fred, and everyone here. I'm going to mute again. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
I got one sentence. I got one sentence to say.
Okay, and I'll tell him what a
I got one
trap
sentence
is.
to say. No, one sentence, right?
Okay.
And that is, drugs are not a problem. They're actually a solution. The problem is they're too good a solution. So you use that instead of dealing with the problem. So it doesn't get dealt with. You still got the problem.
Well,
So that's where the trap comes.
I should have told her and friggin' I took her to rehab. I did everything. Next thing you know, this bitch is putting needles in my arms, and friggin' I can't even hit myself. And but it's still my fault now. All our muscles are dead. Friggin' her temple sucked, and
Mate, she has her own free will. Stop beating yourself up, geez.
Yeah, you gotta forgive and love everyone, including
do.
yourself, most especially yourself, because that is the example that you set for others. Okay, there
You're
is,
right.
you know, that is the main path forward, is kindness and caring for yourself and others. Okay, you don't have to, beat yourself up or have negative thoughts.
Well,
If
it's
you
not
see a
even.
negative thought in your mind, then transform it into a positive thought.
And it's not even really about her. It's about Robbie. But
And
again,
remember,
doesn't
it's
matter
not service
who,
to it's not
because
service to
we're
self
all
or
one.
service to other. It's service to all. Yeah, not
right?
service
And
to other,
he
service to
was.
all. That's you too, dude. That's everybody.
Yes.
He was service to all. I mean, he was the greatest man. I was left at a hospital. I can show you guys in this personal group chat. And I'm only saving Andrii because I'm getting shit so bad right now. Fucking whatever. I can't even sleep. But
Well, Fred
We love
also
you,
had
dude.
his hand up and
he
wanted
still
to say
did.
something.
Well, it's just Robbie. That's all I'll tell you.
Oh, and it's all. Wait, is it past 9 already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, maybe
Fred,
I fucked
go
this
ahead.
shit.
And then I have a market tomorrow, guys. So I would really like to do the AI thing on this after Fred's statement. Or Fred, did you still want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say that what Grace was saying is exactly true. 'Cause I saw it firsthand. It's the last example I gave you, where I'm seeing a 54-year-old man that he can barely function coming to work because he's on so many different substances, and he starts telling me a story about something that happened between him and his son, and then the guy starts bawling his eyes out. And then he's pissed off, and then he gets angrier, and then he gets throws a fit and goes home. It's because once it's shown to the person, hey, there's shit you gotta confront, they have to make a choice. And if they make the choice to confront it and deal with it and incorporate it and assimilate that into a forgiveness of the self, like what Andrei's saying, then you either don't make a choice, which is making a choice, or you make a choice to ignore it, which is pretty much the same choice. And when you ignore it, you go right back to the alcohol because that's the only, or the drugs, because that's the only thing that's going to get you in that simulated environment of that avenue, getting you reconnected with Creator. It's you have to make that choice, and you can't make the choice for them. You can't. There's not a damn thing I could do. I'm sitting at work today and getting questioned by someone asking me, what do you do on Friday nights? And I'm trying to explain it to them, and they just don't get it.
Growing
And
spiritually.
it's their choice. They don't have to. But when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I got asked direct questions. I'm not going around saying you're, a horrible person for drinking. I drink alcohol once in a while. You're a horrible person for taking drugs while I'm sitting here hitting my bong. That's ridiculous. We all take drugs. We drink coffee. We have nicotine. We take ibuprofen. It's just the point of people using whatever the substance is, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it was a plant you go out in your yard and chew on because it makes you feel like you're close to the Creator. If that's what it is, that's what it is. And that's why it is. And they told us why it is. And we know why it is. And the only thing you can do is show them what it's like to forgive yourself and be the way that you are. And then the questions come. And then it's not your responsibility. And it's also none of your business what they do with it, really. Because when you project, I should have done this, they should have done that, they should have listened to me. If I would have done this, this would have happened. That's your ego. That is not you being STO. That is you wanting to control and manipulate someone else to your end of what you expect to be the result. That's not always everyone's choice and everyone's path. Some people choose to get this incarnation for a path that we all shake our heads to. But that's the experience and the incarnation that they needed to fulfill a whole system's collective of incarnations that that soul was intending to experience. It's not our business. So that's basically what I wanted to say.
Okay.
And let me say one more thing.
Oh, guys.
Just one,
Guys.
the one more thing. Trust me. So I got sober 7 years ago off a hard drug. I made it 7 years ago. And the last thing I ever did to Kristen was kiss her on her head. A few years ago, I don't know, maybe 2 or 1, she called me and told me she was dying. And he's completely right. You make that catalyst, freaking, I picked up the drink, you're fucking right. And that's all you have to say, freaking. And now you go. It's
All right.
your show.
Okay, thank you. So, hold on, where were we? There we go. Okay. Come home, beloved, healing addiction with the heart of Jesus and the light of the Confederation. So, here, come to me, all who are labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Within the heart of every distortion lies a lantern of perfect love waiting to be uncovered. Alcohol or drug dependency is not evidence of a divine rejection. It is a cry for reunion. The soul reaching for the living water it once knew. Jesus names that water spirit and truth, and the Confederation calls it intelligent infinity, the indwelling logos. When we weave both traditions, the single message rings out. You are already love. Healing is the remembrance of that love. Why addiction arises? A spiritual view. The veil hides unity. The seeker feels exiled and grasps for substitute bliss. Unintegrated catalyst distorts the energy centers, creating blockages that seek an aesthetic. Souls may choose to incarnate into lineages needing transmutation. Addiction can be chosen service lesson. When green ray heart and blue ray truth are stifled, energy seeks release through outer chemicals. So return to the inner sanctuary. In the morning, place a hand on the heart and whisper Jesus' promise, I am with you always. Silently invite the Holy Spirit or the higher self to guide the day. Breathing Yeshua. The name, okay. Radical self-forgiveness, daily practice. Neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more. To forgive the self is to open the valve through which infinite love may flow. Write every regret or relapse on paper. Speak, I place this at the feet of Christ. Imagine violet fire transmuting the words into light. Feel a gentle wave of self-compassion. Stay until the chest softens. Sacred communion with the body. Bless water before drinking. May this be living water in me. Choose foods that are grown, not manufactured. A craving arises. Pause and ask, what need is truly speaking? Hunger, grief, fatigue. Heart sharing in a safe circle. Gather 2 or 3 trusted souls committed to listening without advice. Open with a brief prayer. Close with silent blessing. Confederation wisdom. Shared heart energy magnifies healing. One seeker breakthrough echoes in all. And exchange addiction for mission. Freely you receive, freely give. Service to others repolarizes the energy body towards green ray flow. Nightly review and surrender. Replay the day from last moment back to waking. Celebrate each choice of light. Hand every stumble to Christ in gratitude. Drift asleep repeating the line, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Come to me and drink. Out of your innermost being shall flow the rivers of living water. May every craving become a compass, turning the wanderer homeward to the heart of all hearts, and may those who walk beside them remember to love is already to heal. Okay, well, I don't know if that resonated with anybody. Yeah.
The main thing I was going to say was that's a really good piece of advice if anybody is struggling in any way. It said, first off, first thing in the morning, it said, place your hand on your heart, make your prayers then. That every single type of addiction counselling will say it starts in the morning, because when you go to sleep, you then do X amount of hours without the drug. So then by the time you wake up in the morning, you don't have as much in you. You're already that first step closer to sobriety. So, starting in the morning with a affirmation, bloody good plan.
Yeah. And then I had helping coworkers struggling with alcohol addiction. So prepare your own vibration. So I don't know if Fred's listening, but 3 deep, slow belly breaths, calm body and mind, silently affirm, may I serve in love and wisdom. Protect, imagine white light, gold light surrounding you, maintaining energetic boundaries. Look for patterns, chronic lateness, odor of alcohol, log specifics, check motives, welfare and team safety. Okay. Loving and wise path. Offer private, non-judgmental support first. Okay. So if safety is at risk, okay. Anyways, open the heart level conversation, private space, respectful tone, acknowledging care. I value you as a person and as a teammate. I've noticed you seem unwell. Spiritual root. Offer listening, suggestion. Share simple meditation. Tell them their worth. They are the creator within. Teaching ground. Okay. Anyhow, honor absolute free will. Okay. So, any final remarks before we close the stream, guys?
Love your mash said mates. Don't try and control them.
Yes.
Be there.
Yes.
Be there for them. Be their friend. Doesn't matter how smashed they are. Give them a hug.
Fair enough.
Best thing you can do.
Yes, because they're searching for union. It is because of the lack of union that they have searched. Okay, go ahead, Grace.
Thank you, Andrii. I had put it in the chat. So this very specific, what was read about addiction, not just now, this is like so beautiful. I was wondering, where can I find that? Is there a link?
Oh, yeah.
I have fellow spiritual seekers who are walking like a sobriety path, and I would love to share this with them. My friends, when I talk about the law of one, they're so amazed because they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I've never heard of it, but it's totally in line with this, and it's totally in line with that, and other spiritual teachers. And so I love talking about the law of one to my friends who don't know anything about it.
So I've put in the link in the chat.
Hey,
thank you
and it's
so much.
on my
website,
onebeing.org.
The best thing about the law of one, is all of the other spiritual things. Doesn't matter where you go, doesn't matter what one you follow, what books you read, every single one of them fits in Ra's little framework. Really, like the law of one framework is all you need to know. Doesn't matter what you can go read any other book. It's just going to reconfirm what Ra told you.
Alrighty then. Okay. So now I will close the stream. So as I found you, I leave you in the love and in the light of the infinite creator, the one within you and all around you. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing with the infinite power and the infinite peace of the infinite creator. My friends, Adonai Vasabaragos. All right, guys.